Hit my car and leave? Bet. This story involves my mom 64F who's severely disabled and a rando couple who hold a flagrant disregard for other people's property, etc. So, my mom, let's call her Sarah, was in the parking lot sitting in her car, preparing to get out and go inside the restaurant she was at. If it matters, she parks in the handicapped parking. Enter the disrespectful couple. They park next to Sarah. They're to the left of my mom's car and their door opens wide hitting my mom's car. Park. Sarah rolls down her window and says, "Hey, in opening your door you hit my car pretty hard just now, did you not realize that or?" And the couple looks, shrugs, and nonchalantly responds, "Oh, sorry about that," and continues on inside, not offering anything more or any sort of information to fix the damage done. My grandpa's favorite phrase was always, "I don't get mad, I get even." Keep that in mind. So, Sarah watches them go into the restaurant, get seated, and go on about their night like nothing happened. She waits until they're out of sight, and she opens her door, hard, hitting the side of their car, and again, and again. Then, she decides she's not so hungry after all, and drives off. Moral of the story, just because someone's disabled doesn't mean they're incapable of revenge when necessary. I've got a lot of Sarah stories, I'll provide more later, haha. You cannot use your allotted meal budget to tip. I travel a lot for work, and my company agreement is that I get a set amount for food every day. I don't have a knack for fancy foods, so I typically just get what I get and tip heavily to maximize the dollar amount. This was never a problem in the past until my company got acquired and the new company is aggressively cutting costs. Someone from our emailed me to tell me I was financially on the hook for tips. I couldn't expense them anymore. So now, I just buy the food I eat from the grocery store, eat cheaply, and spend the rest on donuts and coffee for all of my co-workers everywhere I travel. There is a set budget for food every day. If you're going to be a penny pinching boss, I will find ways to spend that money within our agreement to give to others. Next time I think I'll feed the homeless. Need I remind my company that I'm doing them a favor by traveling because they don't want to pay full-timers in these areas? Don't be cheap. Petty, but I got my pliers back. I loaned my Snap-on pliers to a stranger when I was young, dumb, and poor. Well, to my surprise they didn't return an hour as the borrower had informed me. I called a few times over the following days and then he decided to tell me to F off. Wrong idea, buddy. I called him every 2 hours for 2 days. Nothing. I called every hour for 2 days. Nothing. I opened my flip phone on my toolbox and every time I walked by or grabbed something I hit talk and walked away. Old flip phone user know that's a redial shortcut. That would then leave long voicemails. This went on for over a week until he answered and told me to stop calling. I said bring my pliers back and then doubled down on the calling. Middle of the night, get up to pee, talk. Go to the bar and just keep hitting talk in my pocket. 3 buddies' phones all talk until his phone never stopped ringing. Ever. I got my pliers back. Now I take a deposit that is big enough I could buy 2 new tools if loaned. I do work here, lady. I started a new job as a GM at a restaurant which is located in an old building that has apartments on top. The building is owned by a man and he comes in to check on things fairly infrequently. I've only seen him a handful of times in the year I've worked there. About 3 months into my time here, I was standing at the host stand, as one does, and a man walks in and starts talking to me about a car parked out back and how it needs to move because some construction was happening. Blah blah blah. He asked me if Jess was working because he was pretty sure it was her car. I just stared at him blankly for a second and finally said, "I'm not really comfortable giving you that information. I don't usually share my employees' work schedules with strangers." And we both just stared at each other for another couple seconds until it dawned on me that I'd seen this guy before. Before he could say anything I said, "You're the landlord." And I started cracking up and he relaxed a little as I told him that Jess was in fact present and I'd go get her. I have not forgotten since then that yes, he does kind of work here. You give out my phone number so you don't get calls? Cool. About 3 or 4 years ago, I started getting spam calls from realtors or real estate scammers. Who knows, looking for Roy. They spammed me for a week or 2. Then it stopped. I forgot about it and moved on. Every once in a while, I'd get another one. Every time, it was about Roy selling property in a state on the opposite side of the country. Instead of telling the caller off like usual, I talked to them one night. They were happy to give me Roy's full name and the address of the property he kept dangling for sale. I looked him up. He had been using my phone number on all the real estate websites so he didn't get bothered with calls. The calls died off. I forgot about it again. About 2 months ago, they started back up again. I remembered where I had written down Roy's info and checked him again for an updated phone number. This time I lucked out and found his real cell phone. I considered texting him to stop giving out my number, but I didn't want to deal with a crochet old man who thought he was getting one over on a stranger. The very next day, I got yet another phone call with an out-of-state area code. "Oh, are you looking for Roy? Hang on a second. Let me get you his phone number. It's 999-555. 1212, are you related to Roy? Nope, never met the man, or been to that city. I live about 3,000 miles away, but that bastard has been giving out my phone number for 4 years. So, I did some research and found him. I don't know what you do for a living, but you should really be an investigator. Why thank you. I am. Would you mind updating your system with that phone number instead? I certainly will. Thank you for being so nice about this. I have not gotten a single call since. Edit fuck you, Roy. I looked up your house on Google Maps. It ain't the palace you think it is.